Hey, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about engaging and motivating struggling readers using a strategy known as the STARI strategy, and it stands for Strategic Assessment and Reading Intervention. This strategy is used to engage and motivate students. So most of the time, this strategy is used with lower income students, students that you wouldn't necessarily think would succeed in a regular school setting on their own. These students are oftentimes just kind of pushed to the side. They are not as important, not necessarily important, but people don't see them as equal to those who succeed on a regular basis in schools. So this strategy is used to engage struggling readers and to help them succeed more so on their own than what normally occurs. So to do this, to engage and motivate these students, we as teachers have to use texts that students can relate to. So instead of using some text from just some off-the-wall database or story or something like that, you might want to choose something that students can relate to, like maybe they're interested in cars and maybe you can find a historic article that deals with car production or something like that, just things that students are interested in but they don't really think they're learning whenever they're reading about it. So these things will help students who struggle on their own. We as teachers are meant to help students find their voice. That's like our main job as educators. We're meant to help students find themselves and be confident in themselves to succeed on their own. Success is not just success. Success is made up of motivation, both intrinsic and extrinsic, but mainly intrinsic. And you want students to be able to work hard on their own and know that you're there to help them if they need you, but that they can figure it out on their own. They can do it on their own. Right now, we give students texts that are below their reading level just because we want to pass them on to the next person. We want the administration to look decent and better than what maybe they should. Teachers throughout the state and throughout the country even struggle to find texts that are appropriate for struggling readers. You don't want to take a student and give them a text that is way too easy for them, because then they get tired of trying to work for you. They get tired of working as hard as they possibly can if you're not going to work as hard as you can. Students need to know that they're expected to put a little bit of effort into what they're doing. They need to know that you care enough about them to challenge them a little bit. So giving low income or struggling readers and students something that's just going to come easy for them just so you can pass them on to the next person isn't really helping them any at all. So given this, and given that the administrations and teachers across the country are not currently putting an effort into actually helping these students, this STARI program has been created to help those students, to help our teachers understand what we have to do and what we need to do for these students to help them succeed on their own when the world's really out to get them. So the goal for the future in the STARI program is to help students from the lower income areas succeed on their own. People often underestimate people from these areas because they don't necessarily have the same resources that we have. And just because they don't have the same resources doesn't mean that they're incapable of succeeding and learning how to use what they do have in their favor. We want to make sure that people in these areas and that fall under this category and in this group have the opportunity to further their literacy and their comprehension and reading. That's the main goal after all whenever you come to the education system. And we want to create leaders and educators and businessmen and women and politicians. We want to create these beings, these people, so that they can go on and further their education and their careers and be successful men and women. So by doing this, we have to encourage them and help them to succeed on their own in school, because without school they can't do all of these other things. That's basically what my article was about. And if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them. But in a nutshell, all that we need to do as teachers and as future educators is to make sure that we're giving our lower income and lower level students the same resources and the same time and the same whatever is necessary for them to succeed and to do well in school on their own. Thank you.